sophomore. Chris Weinke, although he is 26 years old, only his second year on campus, had a horrible game against North Carolina State, threw 6 interceptions. The key is he has not thrown one since. In talking to Florida State offensive coordinator Mark Richt, he told us they had to simplify the offense and become less quarterback dependent.
And with that, they have to run the football. Travis Minor plays such an important role in that Florida State offense. What's his status today?
Minor rolled his ankle a few weeks ago. He did not play last week against Maryland. He will play but not start today. In his wake is Jeff Chaney, though, a very capable backup. Had 89 yards against USC and had his first 100-yard game against Maryland. If you haven't heard of him before, it's because Jeff Chaney was a defensive back this time last year.
You'll hear about him today. And let's talk about Miami. A lot of excitement. Beat Rutgers with a 53-point performance a week ago. And the word of Miami, the Hurricane, explosive again.
Well, you have to be explosive at Miami, and it all starts with your quarterback. Fifth-year senior Scott Covington only started 1 game before this year, and he's come and done a great job. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes in the last 3 games. 6 of those touchdown passes to Santana Moss. Moss last week against Rutgers had 3 touchdowns in a 4-minute span. Defensive coordinator Mickey Andrews of Florida State told us that Santana Moss might be the fastest receiver in America.
And to keep him on the field today and weaving in and out of traffic, Miami will have to run the football much better than they did a year ago.
Well, this series always comes down to who outruns whom, and Edgerrin James will be a big part of the game today. Last year against Florida State, he could only manage 5 yards on 13 carries. The Hurricanes will need a much bigger performance out of James today.
It is a muggy day at the Orange Bowl. Temperature 85 at game time. The wind will not play a factor, and there's a chance of rain in the forecast this afternoon. You look at the coaches. Butch Davis rebuilding Miami, making big strides in his 4th season. Today's game will be the real test. And Bobby Bowden, what else can you say about this icon in college football in his 23rd year? And what's amazing is that Bobby Bowden has won 11 straight bowl games. The last 5 times Z2's teams met, Florida State victorious, then Miami picked up a win in '94, and then the Seminoles have dominated '95, '96, and '97.
This series always one of streaks. Florida State on a roll, but we'll see what can happen today in the Orange Bowl.
Miami won the toss and chose to defer until the second half. On the ground, it's going to be Miami football. Trickery by Butch Davis. They started off, Ed, with the onside kick.
Jorge Gaitan is the kicker for Miami. Just pooched it down the field. It went the required 10 yards, and Miami comes up with it. Butch Davis just sent a message to his football team. Hey, guys, we're going to pull out all the stops today. We are here to beat the Seminoles.
Quarterback for Miami, Scott Covington, has thrown for 11 touchdowns, only 1 interception on the season. A 5th-year senior is Covington, and the Hurricane in good field position to start this game at the Orange Bowl. Covington on the first play of the game, has a throw down the middle. Santana Moss in and out of the hands and dropped at the 10.
Boy, oh boy. A guy like Santana Moss, with his kind of speed, if the offensive line can protect Scott Covington, a great job. Lamar Green comes on in a blitz. They pick it up. Great protection for Scott Covington. Santana Moss has to hold on to that ball. What a way this game would have started if it'd be 6-0 right now in Miami.
And the team that has scored first has won the last 5 meetings, 11 of the last 12. On the ground come the Hurricanes. And Edgerrin James picks up good yardage inside Seminole territory. Miami's offense that will help protect Covington. James and Williams. Moss, who just dropped that sure touchdown. And then up front, it's all Mercier, Wise, Neely, and Gonzalez.
Although not deep on the offensive line, Miami, they are well schooled. The heat today may become a factor with their offensive line at Miami because they cannot rotate people in.
A 6-yard pickup by Edgerrin James, all Big East a year ago. Ran for just nearly 1,100 yards, only the 3rd Miami back to do so. from the eye. It's going to be close. James past the 45 to the 44. And that will bring up 4th down and short. Demetro Stevens playing with a soft cast made that tackle.
Demetro Stevens broke 4 fingers a few weeks ago. He's got the cast on. They weren't sure if he's going to be able to go. But I like Miami. What they're doing early in the game is running right in the middle of that Seminole defense. The Seminoles, very fast on defense, have always recruited a lot of speed. One way you can attack them is try to soften them up in the middle. I like Miami's game plan early on.
Well, Bobby Bowden told us yesterday he expected the crowd to play a factor here, and he knew this game would be much different than a year ago in Tallahassee. 4th and short. Flags are down.
Covington, you could see, was underneath the center trying to get the Florida State defense to jump. Almost every defense in America knows what's going to happen on 4th and 1. They're going to try to get you to jump. Miami will take the 5-yard penalty, and they will punt the ball away and try to pin Florida State as deep as possible.
Low snap to cross on the left footer. Floats it high. Warrick. Fair catch. 10-yard line. .39-yard boot. Chris Weinke, the sophomore, 6'5", 225-pounder. Since the North Carolina State debacle, 730 yards passing, no picks. They pick up that Florida State backs and receivers, Cheney, Glenn, Warrick, Dugans, and Jackson. And up front, Brannon, Whitaker, Thomas, Carmichael, Thomas. 1st and 10 from the 10. A 1-yard gain for Jeff Cheney, starting for Travis Minor. We set up that Miami Hurricanes defense. Quincy Hips, Matt Sweeney, Lewis, and Stinson fill that front line. Watch out for Dan Morgan, Nate Webster, and Smith. And then it's Rump, Blades, Reed, and Myers, your defensive secondary. 2 wide receivers to the far side, 2nd down 10. Seminoles run off that left side to the 15-yard line. And again, the ball carrier is Jeff Cheney, a 6-footer, only a sophomore. First career start last weekend against Maryland. 30 carries, 133 yards.
Oh, he exploded on Maryland, but he showed a flash of brilliance against USC. Had a couple of big runs that got called back. He would have been over 100 yards against USC. Very capable backup to Travis Minor.
2 wide receivers set on 3rd down and 6 from the 15. Weinke on the rollout. Fires, sideline complete. And it's Marvin Minnis, a sophomore, who actually got to start in front of Peter Warrick today because he's from Miami.
Got to get those hometown guys in. This play, a little rollout to the left. Watch number 31, Lamar Glenn, gets a cut on the defensive end, and that allows Weinke to get outside. That's Stenson that Glenn knocked down. Keep your eyes on number 31 today. He won't carry the ball a lot, but he is a punishing blocker.
Lamar Glenn, the fullback, he's a big one, 235-pounder. 1st down, Seminoles. Weinke to the sideline. What's bread and butter? Peter Warrick, one of the most dangerous receivers in all of college football, hauls it down. They'll mark it short of the 1st down at the 35, a 9-yard pickup. Weinke, and when you talked about simplifying the offense, there's not a lot of stuff downfield. He is very good on the rollout for a big man and shoots that ball to the sidelines very well.
Yeah, at 6'5", you wouldn't expect Weinke to be that mobile, but he is. He's extremely mobile. They're going to move the pocket so he can try to get the ball in the hands of guys like Peter Warrick very quickly.
From the eye, 2nd down short. Right behind the big center of Eric Thomas, Derek Ham made the tackle from his strong linebacker spot.
Florida State comes out and does almost just like Miami, running right up the middle, got a 1st down. Again, that was Lamar Glenn, the big fullback. He's an excellent, excellent player. Bobby Bowden, when we talked to him the other day, said he wasn't sure about Travis Minor. They're going to have to roll some guys through in this heat.
First and 10 from the 37. Play action as Weinke steps up in the pocket. It collapses. The big fella still trying to pick up some yards. And he just could not escape the grasp of that horde of orange jerseys.
Weinke does a nice job of staying in the pocket. As it starts to break down, Peter Warrick was wide open in the middle of the field, but because of the pressure, Weinke could just not get that ball off. Sweeney gets in on there. He's got 2 sacks on the year, and then you just see a bunch of orange flying around the ball. Man, when it's like blood and water for Sharks. When that defense sees the quarterback in trouble, they're going to go try to lay some right L's on him.
But you got to be honest. I mean, Weinke at 6'5", 225, 230 has linebacker size.
Oh yeah, he's just as big as those guys trying to tackle.
7th play of the drive coming up. Shotgun, 2nd and 11. Looks like they're trying to set up the screen, and it falls incomplete. Lamar Glenn a little bit low, but a pass you think ought to be completed.
The one thing you have to do as a quarterback when the screenplay starts to fall apart is just get rid of it.
On the offense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
On the right side of your screen, fullback Lamar Glenn's going to kind of sneak out. You can see the offensive lineman with him. But number 76, Ross Brandon, the split tackle, has to cut the defensive end. If he lets that defensive end stand up, there's no way Weinke can throw it around him. Ross Brandon just did not get his man down on the ground and let Weinke throw it over the top for the screen.
Last year in Tallahassee, you have to talk about this, Ed. Florida State won 47-0. Miami started 29 freshmen in that game, and Butch Davis simply says, you know, hope the diapers come off today.
Man, Butch Davis told us he thought it was cruel and unusual punishment to some of those freshmen. Seems there's some problem with one of the players' equipment. They have very strict rules in college football for the safety of the players, obviously. Boy, you think he's a little warm? Dan Morgan, a true sophomore, as a freshman last year, a true freshman, led this team with 105 tackles. He's averaging 16.5 tackles a game this year.
2nd down, 16. Dugans and Warrick line up to the far side. Fumble. Tough exchange. Jeff Chaney lost the ball but recovers at the 32.
Coach Bobby Bowden calls this a team of the future, that they're so young, they just make these mistakes. Chaney, the ball's handed off right into his stomach. Just a sophomore, played defensive back last year. But Bobby Bowden called this a team of potential. They've had a lot of mistakes. They have not played well on the road this year, and it looks that way so far today.
From the shotgun, 3rd and 15 for Weinke. Again, up in the pocket, throws it up and over. Incomplete at midfield. That's a couple of drop balls. Peter Warrick, a very sure-handed receiver, guarded by Nick Ward, and it brings up 4th down.
And boy, what a key to this ball game. Just Miami able to drop off a lot of guys off the line of scrimmage, play a zone defense, and get pressure with their 4 down linemen. Miami can do that all day. It's going to be tough for Weinke to find anybody open.
Cottrell back to punt. Leonard Myers at the 24. Well, he took a shot, stunned him, but he's still on his feet. At the 40, 45, 50. He breaks a tackle, but out of bounds at midfield. 44-yard punt. How about that 20-yard return?
Special teams playing a huge part in this game early. An onside kick by Butch Davis gave Miami good field position. Now they have great field position on the 20-yard return by Leonard Myers. Things look very interesting early in the Orange Bowl.
I want to hear everything.
What everything?
Everything they're afraid to show us in school.
Todd Bowden is uncovering a secret.
What did it feel like?
And is about to learn a lesson in fear. From the director of The Usual Suspects and the author of Misery and The Shining.
Come down to the cellar. You're not gonna believe this.
Apt Pupil. Rated R. Opens everywhere October 23rd.
I can help you plan ahead and make sure you have money for things like the kids' education.
That's fantastic. But I was thinking about starting my own business.
As a matter of fact, that's part of the plan too. Now here's the best part. Guaranteed income for you and Meg to retire in style.
AXA. Dynamic vision. Equitable. A trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA Group.
Most breweries in America were built in cities, but not Coors. You see, years ago, my great-grandfather had to choose. Either brew a good beer in the city or a great, refreshing beer up here. Good call.
Here at VMI, we were asked to try the new Norelco Advantage for 21 days. There was quiet dissension.
I'm not giving out my blade.
And anxious inquiry.
The heck is this? Goo?
But then we started to realize the lotion actually gave us a closer, smoother shave than we expected, without the nicks and cuts like blades. Our fear diminished. Our hopes arose, and life got a little less hairy.
Come on, babyface, move it!
The new Norelco Advantage. Put it to the test. If you don't like it, they'll give you your money back guaranteed.
Ray's wife plots the ultimate revenge.
Holding back sex?
Everybody loves Raymond.
You think that's gonna get me? I'm a sex camel.
An all-new episode, CBS Monday.
Well, an interesting start here in the Orange Bowl. A classic matchup, Florida State-Miami. 9:05 remaining first quarter. Second series for Covington and his Hurricanes. On the rollout, Covington's got a man. Tied in, it's Daniel Franks. Third reception of the year, and it sets up Miami on the porch, but there's a flag down back inside the 45-yard line.
I believe they got Richard Mercier, number 62, the left guard, for a holding. Left guard's Mercier. He's going to pull out. He's going to pull out on the play action, and he gets hit right in the face by Seymour. Kind of catches him off guard, and he wraps his big hands around the backside. That is what they call the holding on. Was that Mercier got his arms around the backside of Seymour and wipes out a 42-yard gain by Franks. Covington checks back for the flag, and boy, that'll tear your heart out after a big play like that.
First down. 22 yards to go from the 32-yard line. Second man through is Edgerrin James. Let's set that Florida State defense for you. That big front line, Seymour, Simmons, Johnson, and Bryant. Backers, Lamont Green went out on the first play. Brian Allen and Coley, Edwards, McCorkle, Gibson, and Cody are your secondary.
Corkle's in for the injured Dexter Jackson, who has a pulled hamstring. Probably will not see him today.
Second down at 21. Covington looks up. Nice pass. James over his shoulder. Makes a move at the 50. And he will be marked down at the 42-yard line. Well, they needed 21 for the first down. They got 23. McCorkle, the free safety, made the stop.
As an offensive coordinator, you always look for mismatches. Demetro Stevens, the middle linebacker, has Edgerrin James one-on-one. They run the little play fake. Stevens bid on it. Edgerrin James runs right by him for a huge gain and even a bigger first down. Florida State getting to Covington, taking him to the ground. Not much of a hit, but that's one thing Florida State has to do is to disrupt this Miami passing attack.
Single back set. James stacked up, and a host of white jerseys knock him down at the 42.
Let's take a look at our Sun America virtual playbook. One of the things that Florida State will do to try to create some confusion and get pressure on Covington. They will walk a linebacker up onto one of the guards. He will fake like he's rushing, then back out. What that's going to do is create a little confusion between the left guard and the center and leave that nose tackle free to run in and sack the quarterback. Florida State tries to deceive, but they also have great team speed, and there's a lot of ways that they can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Ty Wise, the center today, to help solidify that front to protect Covington. Through the hands of Darryl Jones. McCorkle on coverage. It stops the clock with 7:32 to go in the first quarter. 3rd down and 9 for Miami.
There's 2 drop balls. That one, Darryl Jones, if he reels it in, would have a first down. Already had Santana Moss drop a sure touchdown pass, had the Florida State defense beat deep. Covington's got to get those young guys. Remember, they're all second-year sophomores. Butch Davis has had to play so many young guys. They're all very talented. Covington, the 5th-year senior, needs to get them settled down.
3rd down and 9 from the shotgun. Covington to the sideline. Had a receiver, Moss caught in, but he actually threw the down and out, incomplete. And we understand as you watch Covington trot off, Lamont Green, Florida State's fine outside linebacker, their top tackler, dislocated elbow. First play of the game, will not return today.
What a shame. Lamont Green is from Miami, Florida. He's a senior. Bobby Bowden has had guys battling injury all day, but just a shame that Lamont Green, a senior, has to be out of this ballgame.
Warrick back to receive the kick from Crossland. They took a hit at the 1. Miami special teams trying to get it back into play, but it will be on the 20-yard line. 41-yard kick. 7:21 to play, first quarter in the Orange Bowl.
Your world is more than a world of computers, a world of communications, a world of semiconductors. You live in a world of multimedia, where computers, communications, and semiconductors all come together. NEC Multimedia, because it's your world, and NEC can help you run it.
In the financial world, to survive, you must keep on the move. It is not a world for the hesitant or the timid. Sometimes, to defend against larger, fiercer competitors, your best choice is merger or acquisition. But beware, lest your careful, well-planned strategy should result instead in failure or doom. In these troubled waters, experience, knowledge, and size are your best allies. If you're considering strengthening your company through merger or acquisition, think first of First Union. Wherever you plan to go, we have been there before. Come to the mountain called First Union. Or if you prefer, the mountain will come to you.
On the NFL today.
After years of controversy, there's a whole new Ricky Watters in Seattle.
I am the person and the player that I am right now because of all the things I went through, both good and bad.
Tomorrow on CBS.
Craig Bolerjack, Ed Cunningham back. You have to wonder, what's going through the mind, you think, of Bobby Bowden?
He's thinking, I've got an awfully young team that needs to gel very quickly. I mean, it's a hostile crowd at the Orange Bowl. Florida State not had much luck at the Orange Bowl, but Chris Weinke, he's got a mature quarterback. We talked about his inexperience, but he can maybe be the calming factor in that huddle.
Weinke in control. They pitch the ball to Chaney. Tries a hop and skip for a couple to the 22-yard line, but good pursuit by the guys in orange, led by Matt Sweeney.
Boy, the one thing you like to see is all those orange jerseys swarming around. Man, are they playing possessed so far? Now the question becomes, without depth, especially on the defensive line and the linebackers, can Miami sustain this type of pursuit throughout 4 quarters of football?
From the eye, 2nd down and 8. Weinke pedals back, wants to throw, hooks up, near sideline. That's Dugans, and a first down for Florida State. Let's go to New York City now, and Timmy Brando with a College Football Today update. Tim?
Craig, for the second consecutive overtime period, Michigan State scores on its first play from scrimmage. This a 25-yard Cedric Urban touchdown run. Spartans go on to win it 38-31 in 2 extra sessions, evening their overall record to 3-3.
Well, that's big for Michigan State. They lose that one. They slipped to 2-4. Maybe you'll see a little resurgence in Michigan State, start to get a little roll down the stretch.
Pick up the win in overtime. Here it's scoreless at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Weinke pumps, fires. Catch! Warrick! Touchdown, Florida State! And it was the great pump by Weinke. And then somehow Warrick able to climb up on the 5th rung and then came down and blew into the end zone.
Chris Weinke celebrating with his teammates. It was a great pump fake, but not a great throw. Warrick had to do all that on his own.
Janikowski, the left footer, tries for the extra point. A 255-pound extra point man, huh? He takes the air out of the ball. And Florida State strikes 62 yards to Warrick.
Every man has a mountain to climb.
What part of Russia is he from, anyway?
Krebs, what are you doing shooting?
Krebs, you're here to rebound. Just stay out of the way.
Krebs! Yo, coach, you gotta get this Krebs guy out of here. Krebs. K-R-E-B-S. I know how to spell. I'm from here. Man, you are terrible, terrible.
You want to get somewhere, then work it, then work it.
What mountain did you climb today? What beer was there at the top?
Buy you beer. Okay, I have Coors Light. That's C-O-O-R-S.
Coors Light. Frost brewed. Rocky Mountain cold.
Will you ever own a personal satellite? Will you ever say, fill her up with hydrogen? Are microfibers just a trend? One thing's for sure, opportunities abound. And every day we look at them through a microscope. Like a peek, let's get to work. Solomon Smith Barney.
Illegal Ultimate Fighters.
Where did they fight these freaks?
Arkansas.
Are about to meet the LAPD's ultimate weapon.
Nice move.
Martial law, CBS tonight.
Well, Peter Warrick catching a rest on the sideline, just hauled down a 62-yarder, his 6th touchdown of the season.
Well, you'll know why in a second, why Chris Weinke underthrew this ball. A little pump fake, gets hammered right in the ribs, taken to the ground by Derek Ham, who has 5 sacks on the year. Nick Ward just could not make the play. Peter Warrick, what a great job of going up to the highest point of the football. Met with Warrick yesterday. What a nice young man. He has great big hands. And all NFL scouts love those big hands on receivers. There was kind of a war of words during the week. A lot of guys from Miami running their mouth how they were going to take Warrick out of the game. He said, you know what? I'm not going to open my mouth. I'm just going to let my actions speak louder than my words.
There's Janikowski, 255-pounder, had 5 field goals last week. Boy, he hits that ball a ton. Najee, Davenport takes the knee, 5 yards deep. Relive the greatest games in college football history with CBS Sports Line's College Football Flashback. You'll get complete recap, stats, and quotes. Go to cbs.sportsline.com.
Weinke got away with one that last time. Smiling over there, cheesing a little bit. Knew that underthrew that ball, but with weapons like Peter Warrick, you can afford to underthrow a few balls. 26 years old, as we talked about. Spent 5 years in the Blue Jays organization.
He was recruited in 1989 by Bobby Bowden, and coach said, if you want to come back. And he did. James James trying the right side, a couple of yards up to the 22. That's a great story with Weinke. Has a flag down as well.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards. First down.
Those are the things that kill Bobby Bowden. This team has been penalized and penalized and penalized. They're a young team. They're inexperienced. But that was a call that came after the play. That's players not using their head. Kills coaches like Bobby Bowden. I mean, Bobby has been around so many years, 23 years, a head coach at Florida State. There's one thing that's constant. You have to have discipline on the field, and they're not getting that by Florida State. Fumbles and penalties and the like.
And he told us yesterday he just doesn't know why those things are happening right now. Moss, the motion man, 1st and 10 from the 36. Off the hands of Moss and then nearly intercepted by Thomas, the right corner.
Scott Covington's had 2 balls dropped today. This one, however, thrown over the middle to Santana Moss, just a little high. Moss could not get up to it, and boy, are they lucky that Cleavon Thomas could not come up with that one. This crowd that's been so loud early on would have become very quiet had Thomas come up with that INT.
3 wide receivers set, 2 to the near side. 2nd down and 10. Moss in motion. Covington feels pressure and dumps it down, incomplete. And that's the one worry that Butch Davis has. You have to give Covington time. And that front line of Florida State, very fast off the snap.
Well, this is a nose guard, number 96, Larry Smith, coming in from the middle, just gets pummeled into the turf, helmet all askew. Good pressure by Larry Smith. Those types of hits start to add up, especially in this heat on Scott Covington.
And defensively, Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, he'll rotate 25 players in there during the first quarter.
Sometimes you never know who'll be on the field for Florida State.
Covington shotgun. Flags are down. Covington steps out of bounds. Your first thought would be holding. Brian Allen bringing pressure. The middle linebacker.
If you're Florida State, you're going to decline this so that you force a 4th and long. Make Miami punt.
Here's Courtney Moss.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Second holding penalty by Miami. Again, when Covington is scooting out of the pocket, guys in the middle of that offensive line can't grab. When a guy starts to run away from you, you can't grab a hold of his jersey. That's all the back official, the umpire, is looking for, is our jerseys being tugged on.
3rd punt for Andy Crossland. Averaging 40 yards a boot. He's at his own 17-yard line. Left footer, nice kick. Warrick pedals back at the 13. Warrick lost it. James Lewis.
Such an explosive athlete, makes Nate Brooks fall right on his face, going for some extra yardage, fighting for everything he can get. Right there at the very end, Nate Brooks, he got shaked out of his shoes, comes back, hits the ball, hits the helmet right on the ball, knocks it out of Warrick's hand. What a hustle play by Nate Brooks. Boy, that's what they give helmet stickers for, is plays like that.
And James Lewis recovers. Miami down 7 with a chance to try to push this in, but not much. Not much from that Florida State front. James knocked down maybe a yard to the 19. McCorkle made the tackle.
And how important is the ground game in this series? I mean, every single year, the only thing you have to do at the very end of the game is look at the statistics. Who has outrushed whom? And last year, of course, negative 33 yards for Miami. A lot of those came on sacks. But it's been domination by Florida State on the running game. Very obvious early on that Miami wants to establish Edgerrin James.
Second down, 9. Covington throws it out to the flat. Incomplete. Nick Williams, the fullback, the intended receiver.
We have now had 3 kicking game plays that have made huge impacts on this game. The onside kick to start the game out for Miami that they recovered. A 20-yard punt returned by Miami that gave them good field position. And now Peter Warrick fumbles the ball deep in his own territory, giving Covington and all his boys a chance to get it in the end zone.
And Covington has missed his last 5. 1 of 7 here in the first quarter for 25 yards. Covington to James. Makes a nice move inside the 10. And he's going to be close to the first down. He needed to get to the 8. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 9. Tate Cody, the right corner, made the tackle. Yeah, that's one way to try to take the rush off of you is to throw it to the flat, set up the screen.
The one thing that Florida State loves to do on defense, bring guys up around the line of scrimmage, press their corners. What that does is it doesn't allow your linebackers to come out and cover a lot of your running backs. Edgerrin James has been open out in the flat all day long, and look at this. Butch Davis, you think he's sending a message right now going for it on 4th down?
Whistles and timeout called. Timeout, Florida State.
Mickey Andrews had to call timeout. He was not happy with how his defense was set up there.
Well, if you haven't seen the new detective show, Buddy Farrow, Friday's episode is the one not to miss with special appearances by our own gang. We're talking Greg Gumbel, Phil Simms, and Marcus Allen. They may not win any Emmys, but I hear they had a lot of fun on Buddy Farrow this Friday on CBS.
My only question is which one's going to be the bad guy? I mean, one of those 3 has to be the criminal.
Well, who would you pick? Who would you pick?
Phil Simms a little shady.
Yeah.
A little shady sometimes. Those quarterbacks, you never know.
Kind of got the good guy look, but never know.
Greg Gumbel kind of clean cut. Marcus Allen had so many years in the NFL running back, but I think Phil Simms is going to be your shady character in that one.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but yet Florida State up 7. You still get the feeling, though, that Miami has confidence and momentum in this game.
The one thing that when we talk to all the coaches and players, especially even the coaches, Bobby Bowden at Florida State, the difference between last year and the 47-0 shellacking that Florida State gave Miami and this year, number 1, they're more experienced at Miami. All those young guys have a year under their belt. But number 2, they're starting to be confident about themselves, starting to feel that kind of chest thumping that Miami's always been known for, starting to come back a little bit.
4th downs you see this season, Miami 2 of 3. It's 4th down and short. Weinke going for 6. Touchdown. Gutty call. First by Butch Davis, and Covington absolutely put it right on the money.
Butch Davis is making a statement to his players today. First kick, they try an onside kick, they recover it. Now 4th and goal, they run a play action to Daniel Franks, the tight end for the touchdown.
Crossland kicks it through. And a wild start here in Miami, 7-all.
Were you born without a soul?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about this.
It's just an oil filter.
Just an oil filter? Look, nothing stops more dirt than America's #1 brand of oil filter, Fram. Now get out of here. How do you live with yourself?
Fram oil filters. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later. For extreme driving conditions like stop-and-go traffic or towing, try Fram Tough Guard.
Adamstown, Pennsylvania, a true story. At a flea market, a man bought a frame for $4. When he brought it home, he made a $2 million discovery, an original copy of the Declaration of Independence. When it comes to retirement, you can depend on luck or you can depend on us. Sun America. Ask about our personal retirement portfolios. And don't leave your future to chance. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Well, there's Daniel Franks. I think I said Weinke with the throw. Obviously, Covington out of the pocket for Miami. What a great catch. Tight ends don't get a lot of chances for touchdowns, but that's number 2 on the year for Franks.
Yeah, but Butch Davis comes from the Dallas Cowboys. He was a defensive coordinator there, and they had a guy named Jay Novacek. The reason Novacek had a Hall of Fame type of career was because of the running game of the Dallas Cowboys. Miami now trying to get that running game going, and that play-action pass has been wide open all day for the Hurricanes.
Lavernius Coles back to receive along with Reggie Durden. 7-all here in the first quarter. Still 3:54 to play at the Orange Bowl. No return. And Florida State will start at their own 20.
As we were just talking about, it's the play-action pass that's just opening up everything. Florida State plays their linebackers so close to the line of scrimmage. Daniel Franks pretends like he's blocking, goes out, just runs a little out route. Covington just has to lay it up over the top for 6. He hasn't had a great first quarter, but, man, you start getting that play-action pass, and he's going to be celebrating quite a bit today.
It's amazing his touchdown to interception ratio. And that's 12 touchdowns, only 1 pick this season. Seminoles on the ground. Travis Minor. First look at number 23. Did not play last week. Turned an ankle against USC. Out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Same high school as Warrick Dunn, the great back at Florida State. Last year he was the ACC's Rookie of the Year. He burst on the scene with 623 rushing yards. He had 11 touchdowns as a true freshman. But again, remember that left ankle was sprained 2 weeks ago. He's still not 100%.
Lamar Glenn is his blocking fullback, and once again Travis Minor trying to test that ankle here, and the Orange Bowl up to the 26, call it the 27-yard line. You talk about Warrick Dunn and the relationship with Travis Minor. You realize that he wore Warrick Dunn, his number in high school, number 28, came to Florida State and said, you know what, it's time I find myself, my own identity, and he went with 23.
Can you blame him? I mean, number 28, the number 28 was almost worn out by Warrick Dunn. Travis Minor would like to wear out that number 23 if he can.
3rd down and 3. Weinke rolls out and fires sideline and complete the call. So 3 up, 3 down, and the Seminoles will have to punt. Myers, there's a good look at number 22 on coverage. He's the guy that's talked about, I want Warrick every down.
Well, this time he's got Marvin Minus and does a nice job with his left hand to block that thing up. Look at the Miami sidelines. These guys are into the game, but again, I hate to keep harping on with that. With a lack of depth, you wonder if Miami can keep this frenzy going through 4 quarters.
Cottrell the punt. Myers at his own 30. And slammed from behind at the 41. A flag, however, down right after that hit. 43-yard kick, 11-yard return.
Leonard Myers is saying they grabbed my face mask. If this is another penalty.
Face mask on the kicking team. 5 yards. First down.
And it is. Florida State is killing themselves. Better field position for Miami.
Well, next Saturday it's conference crunch time on NASDAQ College Football in the SEC. Auburn's Karsten Bailey will look for a run and room against Steve Spurrier's attacking Florida Gator defense. And in the Big East, Donovan McNabb ignites the Orangemen in a clash with Mike Cloud and the BC Eagles. That's next Saturday here on CBS. Check your local listings. Not much. James tossed back. James O averaging at 97 yards a game. He's been very productive, tackled by Jamal Reynolds.
Florida State defense has solidified themselves a little in the middle. Florida State will play 25 guys on defense in the first quarter alone to keep them fresh. Early on, Miami had a little success running up the middle, and Florida State's starting to clog it now.
And that's without Lamont Green, their fine linebacker, who dislocated his shoulder on the first play. Oh, second effort. And a first down, Nick Williams, the fullback. 265-pounder.
There's no question who's going to win this battle. Nick Williams, used primarily as a blocking back, but he's a great receiver out of the backfield. Was third on the team last year in receptions. Drops the shoulder on number 15, Mario Edwards. Poor Mario is only 195 pounds. That's very tough to do, tackle him.
Average yards gained per first down, Florida State 12.5. Miami only 1.
And that's the one thing Florida State has always been very good at, is get teams into second and third and long. It closes your playbook down on offense.
Ball start on the offense. 5 yards. First down.
And one of the few mistakes so far for Butch Davis and his club.
Both of these teams have really kind of hurt themselves. 2 holding penalties by Miami have brought big plays back. Now you have a false start, moving them back to 1st and 15. And the one thing is, these penalties, as they add up, if both teams are about even, and they are, it's going to start to hurt Miami more, because remember, they have less players. They need as many breaks as they can get against this stacked Florida State team.
Covington in the pocket. Runs and guns, has a man at the 29. That is Santana Moss, who pulled down the 3 touchdowns in a 4-minute span last week against Rutgers. Cleavon Thomas, the right corner, made the stop.
The one thing I really like about Scott Covington is the way he sits in the pocket. This pocket is starting to collapse. He has to get out of it. Very good athlete, Covington. Was a 100 and 200-meter state champion in high school. Can run. But the one thing that Miami has done is improved their experience. Santana Moss, last year as a true freshman, may not have known to run back to the quarterback. But when your quarterback's scrambling for his life, you have to come back to him.
That was the first catch made by a Miami wide receiver. Covington again, pumps fire. Oh, he took a licking. Flags go down inside the 20, but how did Moss hang on? Sean Key, the rover back, said hello and tried to shut the lights out.
But the one thing you can do.
Pass interference on the offense. 15 yards. Previous spot. Repeat first down.
There's another big play that Butch Davis's Hurricanes have cost themselves. Big. Santana Moss makes a great catch. Sean Key blows him up. What I was about to say is, on offense, a hit like that, everyone says, oh, it's going to get the defense fired up and the sideline and everything like that. Sean Key makes a nice hit on Santana Moss. But what I love is the reaction of Santana Moss after the hit. All right, you almost separated my head from the rest of my body, but I got the first down. That will fire up an offense just as much as it fires up the defense.
Pushes him back to the 44. 1st and 24. The lone back. They throw the slant. Not much, but a few yards. Reggie Wayne, the sophomore. Final seconds ticking down here in a wild first quarter in Miami. Well, that's going to call the end of the first quarter. The score is 7-all. We'll return to the Orange Bowl right after this message and a word from your local station.
License Peter Lynch, the Fidelity guy. I could overlook some very tedious paperwork for a hot stock tip.
Buying what's hot without doing the research is not investing. It's gambling.
Oh, really?
Here's a tip. Call Fidelity. They'll help you figure out what's right for you.
For your free investing guide, call 1-800-FIDELITY or visit fidelity.com.
Thanks, Hotshot. Watch your fingers.
When we drafted Tim Duncan, I invited him to my home to get ready for the season. He was learning so much.
That doesn't count. You were out.
The roses are out, Timmy, not the daisies. So one day, you brought this into my home.
It's not something I'm proud of.
I calmly explained how Edge Pro Gel protects better than foam because it has 8 rich lubricants.
David sure know how to make a guy feel comfortable.
More lemonade, Tim?
Edge Pro Gel. Save your skin.
The roses, Tim, are out of bounds.
Go with the gnomes. The gnomes can be out of bounds.
With great NFL action, the address is CBS. Help! Somebody! Help them!
you're going to get to first base, get to first base. If you're going to get a deal, get a deal. Hardee's Big Deluxe Burger, now for just 99 cents every day. A great burger at a really great price, just 99 cents. If you're going to go all out.
You want more than scores and stats. It's my job to inform you of everything else on and off the field. Sometimes the biggest sports story of the day isn't the most interesting story of the day. I try to find the little things that might interest you in both. You can get sports coverage in many places and in many ways. I want my sportscast to be creative enough that you keep coming back.
The people you can trust. Eyewitness News on WCTV. It's coverage you can count on.
If you're a parent, you want your children to be successful in school, and you want them to be successful when they graduate. From kindergarten through 12th grade, the Sunshine State Standards offer an equation for success. The standards, plus instruction, plus measuring achievement, equal higher student achievement. The Sunshine State Standards can help your child achieve success. Ask your child's teacher for more information.
Catch Eyewitness Sports with Mark Rushing on Eyewitness News at 6 and 11.
We start the second quarter, number 8, Florida State, and Miami's tied at 7.
Edgerrin James, 4 yards, and he'll pass up Stephen McGuire to go into third place all-time at the University of Miami. Last year had 1,000 yards, only the third back. Miami's history to do that.
James, their lone back. Fulcher in motion. Covington rolls out, fires to the far sideline, and Reggie Wayne goes up. Nice catch at the 32.
The one thing you can do against a defense like this is take your quarterback, don't drop him straight back, get him outside of the rush so that the rushers can't get to the quarterback. He gets out on the run. They still get a little bit of pressure on him. There's Troy Saunders coming up from his safety position to get pressure. But if you move the pocket, you can elude those rushers a lot quicker and get them out of your face.
Now Covington now 7 of 13 since they kind of went to the moving pocket for 80 yards. Once again he went left, now right, fires. What a catch at the 20. Boy, the Pats were popping once again. Reggie Wayne, they worked far side. Hey, let's try it near side and close to a first down for Miami.
Now the question becomes, Mr. Butch Davis, 4th and short, down in your own territory, 4th and 2.
What happened
Will you go for it again?
What happened last time?
Boy, if you're Bobby Bowden, you got to figure Butch Davis is going to leave it in, and he's left in his offense. It looks like they'll go for it again. I really, really like the call by Butch Davis, pulling out all the stops today. He's in it with his players. They're here to win this ball game.
Covington now 8 of 14, 91 yards. You're going to run it this time. The Seminole defense stands up and says, not today. Well, you saw Seymour, the left end, number 56. Also Larry Smith, number 96. So Florida State will have the football when we come back. 7-all at the Orange Bowl.
Waterburn, Australia, a true story. A man was prospecting behind his trailer home when he discovered a 61-pound nugget of solid gold worth $1 million. When it comes to retirement, you can depend on luck, or you can depend on us, Sun America. We specialize in retirement investments. Ask about our personal retirement portfolios, and don't leave your future to chance. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just watching some home movies.
Oh, look at that little ball of dough. Is that you?
You got a very good eye. That is me. And look over there, that's you. Remember this? Sauce made from vine-ripened tomatoes, 100% real mozzarella.
That's beautiful pepperoni.
This just brings back a lot of memories. I'm flooded.
No, we grew up so fast.
You crying?
No, it's the onion.
Really? I can see you tearing up.
No.
Get 2 Little Caesars pizzas featuring our authentic 1959 recipe and 3 toppings for just $10.99.
Pizza.
On weekends, the game comes alive. And after days of constant training and careful preparation, these weekend warriors are now ready for what lies ahead. A 48-hour carnival of contact that will challenge the mind, body, and soul forever. Introducing AT&T 5-cent weekends. 5 cents a minute, anytime, anywhere. Let the calls begin.
It is CBS Sportsline's got you covered. For the breaking news, scores, and stats, fire up the best sports coverage on the net. CBS.sportsline.com.
Hey, you gonna take this thing home. You gonna bring it home, baby.
1, 2, 3, 6 sides of beef right there.
And almost every one of them was in on that 4th and 2 play that gave the Seminoles the ball back.
Weinke at his own 23. They fake the reverse. Now he lobs it over the middle. Now the rainbow just wouldn't fall quite in time. Travis Minor. That play takes a while to develop.
Little fake reverse to Peter Warrick. As great a player as he is, you might as well use him as a decoy every now and then. But the defense of Miami did a fantastic job of staying home. Their defensive backs stayed with their man, stayed with their responsibility, and Chris Weinke had nowhere to go with that football.
There's the numbers on Weinke. 4 of 7, 98 yards. 62 of it went to Warrick on that touchdown in the first quarter. Back to the air. Again, he hooks up. Warrick, well, he's always around the football. Dan Morgan made the tackle. 12-yard pickup.
To Chris Weinke, you might as well just keep looking towards Peter Warrick. He's wide open. A little short roll by Weinke. Good throwing motion. Not much pressure by Miami, so he's able to step into the ball, get a little more zip on the ball. Just a long down and in pattern by Warrick. And Dan Morgan is on the coverage, a linebacker. Again, as an offensive coordinator, Mark Richt, the offensive coordinator, is looking for those mismatches, and they win that one against Dan Morgan.
Third catch for Warrick, 83 yards. Weinke, good time, and he hooks up again. A little pitch and catch that time to his tight end, Nick Franklin, junior from St. Petersburg. He's a junior college transfer this year. Michael Smith made the stop.
The one thing Florida State has done on offense is they've simplified it quite a bit. If you remember back to the Charlie Ward days and the Danny Cannell days, it was just run and gun, put them back in the shotgun, let them spread the offensive round. You've noticed today Florida State not in the shotgun a lot. You see a lot more I formation. But one thing the coaches forgot, this is only Chris Weinke's second year on campus. He's got to mature as a football player.
Only his 6th start. Flags are down. Minor trying to find a hole, and it closes. Flag down inside the 35, the 40-yard line. Michael Smith again on the tackle.
Boy, those hankies are getting a little dirty. Most of them being thrown on Florida State, it seems.
Illegal motion on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, tonight on CBS, spend a day at the races with tomorrow's sports section. It's a sure bet on early edition. Then Sammo Hung infiltrates a gang of high-tech crooks on martial law, and Chuck Norris stars in Walker, Texas Ranger. Tonight is America's Night of Heroes, right here on CBS.
Need to correct my earlier statement. These teams are both they're taking turns, seeing who can move backwards the fastest.
4 flags against the Seminoles for 30 yards, 4 hankies against Miami for 36. Second down and 6. Weinke in the pocket. A little bit strong, Marvin Menace. Let's go back to New York City. Timmy Brando with a College Football Today update. Tim?
Craig, I know Ed Cunningham loves unselfish players. Well, Madre Hill, coming back from an injured ACL, sharing time now with Chris Chikuma, gets this touchdown in a non-conference affair against Memphis at the Liberty Bowl. The Hogs, the surprising Razorbacks, leading 10-3.
If there's been a surprise in the SEC, it has been Arkansas. Arkansas, another one of those teams hurt by a lot of scholarships being pulled away because of their infractions a few years ago. They've done a really nice job down there this year.
From the shotgun, 3rd and 6. The flags are again down. Yeah, Miami knows all about the losing of scholarships. They've lost 31 to sanctions.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
We've seen the officials as much as we've seen Bobby Bowden and Butch Davis today. Left tackle Ross Brandon. It is a little bit loud. Florida State is in the silent count. You know what got him to jump there? Derek Ham, number 71, lurched forward a little bit. Brandon not able to hear the snap count. Saw the motion and started moving. You can't go by the other man's motion. You have to go by the snap count or the silent count.
Third down, 11. Weinke, play action, steps up, looks downfield and overthrows his wide receiver. That's Dugans, the junior from Tallahassee.
The one thing Butch Davis did when he was the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, played a lot of zone coverage. Miami has come out and done a nice job mixing up. They blitzed a few times, but that time dropped everybody off the line of scrimmage, and Chris Weinke just could not find an open man in that zone.
Cottrell gets the kick away. Myers settles underneath it at the 15. Myers trying to find the sideline and down at the 26. 50-yard kick, 11-yard return. CBS Sports coverage of NASDAQ college football will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
The address is CBS.
Republicans are reaching out to find solutions to the problems families face, like a $500 per child tax credit.
It means we'll get a refund next April.
Or health insurance that goes with you when you get a better job.
If you get sick, you don't have to worry.
Even a budget surplus that's helping save Social Security.
Our grandkids deserve the same benefits we have.
Republicans like Joe McCormick agree with these solutions. Call Joe McCormick. Tell him solving family problems is important.
Help! Somebody! Help me!
If you're going to get to first base, get to first base. If you're going to get a deal, get a deal. Hardee's Big Deluxe Burger, now for just 99 cents every day. A great burger at a really great price, just 99 cents. If you're going to go all out.
Eyewitness News and Live Eye take you where news is happening, when it's happening.
It is bad news for Peach State residents, as this study projects on average they'll have a negative 0.29 return rate.
They're going to try to move on to another area, and hopefully the Outer Lake Road area where they put some dirt in will dry up and then maybe come back at another time.
Automatic defibrillators. They're a lot like the machines that doctors use to deliver life-saving shocks, only these machines are tailor-made for someone with just CPR training.
It's coverage you can count on. Catch Eyewitness Sports with Mark Rushing on Eyewitness News at 6 and 11.
Let's keep an eye on Theon Rackley during this punt return. Mr. Rackley, you got to keep your head on a swivel because you've never met Marquise Fitzgerald, so he wants to say hello. Right in the mouth. Marquise Fitzgerald lays the knockout punch on Rackley.
One of the great rivalries in college football, but yet a lot of respect from both of these schools. Covington pumps and not much time. Boy, try to step up, but it shows you just how quick that front rush is of Florida State's.
Number 73, Joaquin Gonzalez, redshirt freshman out of right here in Miami, down on the field.
Former walk-on, he was recruited by most of the Ivy League schools, but wanted to play at Miami.
Jamal Reynolds is the man who applies the pressure on the top of your screen. Oh, that is tough. Joaquin Gonzalez blocking number 43, Billy Rhodes, and gets rolled up right on the back of his leg. And we talked about the depth at the outset of the game. The one position that Miami is probably the thinnest, forget probably, they are the thinnest, is on the offensive line. They've got freshmen backing up freshmen. That's not a good sign. Butch Davis told us that with the loss of scholarships, every time somebody gets hurt, he turns around and sees a true freshman standing there. Take another look at the pressure Reynolds applies on Covington. The backside is the most important side for a quarterback. That's number 77, Robert Hall, a former defensive lineman getting beat inside. And, man, those are the ones that scare you. As an offensive lineman, you never know when that's going to happen. You're working so hard. Gonzalez walked off. See if he comes back.
Quick hit across the middle. Andre King turns his corner and knocked down at the 31. Andre King, a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. Ed, we talked about Weinke in his baseball career. King played 5 years in the Braves organization.
Played for a pretty good organization with the Braves. Andre King will be 25 this November. Weinke's 26. This guy will be 25. You know, if the football game doesn't work out here today, we just bring out a bat and a ball. We've got enough guys. Kenny Kelly, the backup quarterback for Miami, plays for the Devil Rays. It's a ton of baseball players running around.
3rd down and 5. Bumped out in Seminole territory at the 47. Dexter Jackson, the free safety. But Covington, superb job putting the ball the only place it could have been.
Reggie Wayne, part of that sensational sophomore class for Miami. Up there with Santana Moss. And more laundry on the field.
Block in the back. Above the waist, on the offense, 10 yards, on the foul, repeat 3rd down.
Boy, they are starting to stack up for ball. I mean, it's on offense, it's like who can mess up the most, who can go backwards. And the difference is, though, Miami's penalties have happened when they've made big plays. Once again, there's the block in the back, down the field by Santana Moss on number 6, Derek Gibson. You don't have to throw that block. You've already got a big play. If you see the guy's numbers on his back, if you even see the side of his jersey, don't hit him. But again, Butch Davis, his penalties are coming after big plays, unlike Florida State's.
Movement up front, flags again down. And that may prove in Miami's favor. We'll see. Pauly made the tackle.
James Jackson, another.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
James Jackson, another promising sophomore in the game at running back for the Hurricanes. Mickey Andrews says they have 3 backs that can play and play very well at Miami. You have James Jackson, you have Edgerrin James, you have Najee Davenport. Says they rotate those guys in and they can keep them fresh, much like the Florida State defense stays fresh by rotating their line and linebacker.
And Ed, they all get along because James a junior, Jackson's a sophomore, Davenport a freshman. Covington fires a ball tipped and over the outstretched arms as Daniel Franks. All right, our Aflac trivia question. And Ed, think about this. Who was Jim Kelly's backup at the University of Miami during the 1982 season? A couple of plays will give you the answer.
Can I cheat?
You got the
I've got the media
guy.
guy.
Right,
I can just pull it out and take a look at it.
Well, he started slow. 1 of 7. He's come on strong. Covington hanging tight behind, it spins, but then goes down at the 36. A loss of 5.
Robert Sampson is the right tackle. Gets out of his stance late. Remember, he is in for the injured Joaquin Gonzalez. He gets out late in his stance. Florida State's tough enough to block. Roland Seymour, number 56, is tough enough to block. You don't want to make it any harder by being late out of your stance like Sampson was that time.
Seymour, only a sophomore. Brings up a 3rd and 15 from the 36. 3 wide receivers. Backside pressure. Covington goes down. Boy, you got to seal the back end.
Miami's trying to move the pocket to get away from the pressure. Obviously understanding that they've got some backups on the offensive line. They decide to move the pocket around. Good pursuit by Troy Saunders on a cornerback blitz. And there's Bobby Rhodes, middle linebacker. His brother Billy plays defensive line. and their father played at Florida State. Billy Sr. played on the offensive line at Florida State back in the late 60s and early 70s.
That's a scene that Butch Davis does not want to see. Looks like that's Robert Sampson, the backup to Gonzalez. Yep. And Sampson is up.
Boy, that's a good sign. You don't need to start going to your third right tackle. You've already got your starter down. Now your backup has to come off the field. That'll put a little more sweat on the brow of Butch Davis at his thinnest position offensive line.
Andy Crossland, his third punt of the day, longest boot of 55. D. Feaster back at his own 35. Calls for the fair catch, and the Seminoles will start at the 28. Do I see more laundry of the yellow-colored variety?
Well, would it be a play in this game if there weren't a flag on the ground after it was over? Well, you know, I think at halftime we need to hire a seamstress to come in and sew those guys' pockets up.
45-yard kick.
Dead ball. Personal foul on Florida State.
Wow.
15 yards. First down.
Well, this penalty will set Florida State back inside their own 20 at the 19.
Bobby Bowden's going to get a lot of gray hairs with this young football team if they don't stop making mistakes and moving themselves backwards.
Well, look at you.
Me.
You are one delicious-looking pizza.
Thanks a lot.
And there's only one thing that would make you an even better pizza.
What's that?
If you were me.
Funny.
Get 2 Little Caesars pizzas with 3 toppings for just $10.99.
Pizza, pizza.
Need brakes? Come to Midas for a break on brakes. Now just $69.95 after rebate. You'll get our standard brake service and our lifetime guarantee. Midas is $69.95 brakes. It's worth stopping for.
You guys are in here again? I can't believe this! You're always in here nursing your injuries. I have never seen such a group of cream puffs in my life. This is football! I need guys that can play!
Man, I thought he'd never leave.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Hot dog, anyone?
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one, and we've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright.
Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
Tim Brando in New York. Coming up on the College Football Today Accent Equitable Halftime Report, Craig Lew and I will get you caught up on all of today's action, including the #1 Buckeyes rolling along against the Fighting Illini. Joe Germain had 3 touchdown passes. Now back to your game.
Second quarter at the Orange Bowl, 10:18 to go. 7-all. Big plays so far in this game. 62-yarder to Warrick, and then Franks hauled down a touchdown from Covington. 7 apiece. Weinke, play action in the pocket, going deep. In at the 45. Warrick. He beat Myers, the right corner. 41 yards.
Chris Weinke needs to buy Peter Warrick a steak when this game is over. He has severely underthrown 2 balls that this great receiver has gone up and made plays on. Leonard Myers, the quarterback, ran his mouth all week about how he was going to shut down Peter Warrick. Tough guy to shut down Peter Warrick. Man, what a play.
4 receptions, 124 yards, and that 62-yard bomb Still at 10:06 to play in the first half. Now we have a second. Let's take a look. All right, Eddie, Aflac trivia. Who was Jim Kelly's backup at the University of Miami during the '82 season?
He's a traitor now. He would be called a traitor in these parts.
Mark Richt.
Mark Richt on the right there, next to the quarterback coach, Earl Morrow. Look at some of the other guys in that picture. He was the backup to Jim Kelly. You had Bernie Kosar, Vinny Testaverde. It's a lot of passing yards amongst that group. Unfortunately, Mark Richt doesn't have a lot of them. And then the Ring of Honor, Ted Hendricks, they called him the Mad Stork, also in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Jim Dooley, a great running back here at Miami. Can't forget George Myers Sr., one of the all-time quarterbacks before this was quarterback U.
Yeah.
And then there is Vinny Testaverde.
First and 10 from the 45. Weinke throws sideline. Good coverage by the Hurricanes. Marquise Fitzgerald, the left corner, trying to bat that ball down.
In case you thought I was a liar, Vinny Testaverde is part of the Ring of Honor. Won the Heisman Trophy. This was the inaugural Ring of Honor at the University of Miami. They have not elected a class for the Ring of Honor in 1998, but I'm sure they'll come up with a few from the mid to late 80s.
Think of all the choices. My goodness.
They're going to have to build another ring in this stadium before they're done.
Upper and lower. Second and 10 from the 45 of Miami. Nate Webster made the tackle. I was looking in there. Looked like it was Chaney, but Travis Minor getting some reps here on that sore left ankle. Minor only a sophomore.
Minor must have shown something during pregame warm-ups to Bobby Bowden. When we talked to Bowden on Tuesday, he said, I watched him run today, and he looked gimpy, but that was 5 days before the game. Not much production. That's the first time Florida State's run the ball in a long time.
Third down 9, and Weinke will line up in the shotgun. To the flat, and not much. Minor tackled at the 46. In fact, they may lose a yard. Mike Rump, the right corner, made the tackle.
Boy, you want to talk about excitement. When we talked to defensive coordinator Bill Miller about Mike Rump, a true freshman, 6'2", 195 pounds. That is huge as a cornerback. Bill Miller said when he came to campus, we thought he was too tall to play cornerback. He put that to rest right away, and he's making a start today, his second start of the season.
Said he has a pair of hips you wouldn't believe, able to get downfield and make those turns. Reed is tackled at the 16, 32-yard boot and a 5-yard return. 7-all at the Orange Bowl.
The line coach Chris Selfo, also the assistant head coach, standing next to him.
This is for my dad, who worked the night shift to make our lives better. And for myself. For my future.
Be all that you can be.
Well, look at you.
Me.
You are one delicious-looking pizza.
Thanks a lot.
And there's only one thing that would make you an even better pizza.
What's that?
If you were me.
Funny.
Get 2 Little Caesars pizzas with 3 toppings for just $10.99.
Pizza.
A company most people never heard of is changing the way we fight cancer and kidney failure by inducing the body to produce blood cells. Chemotherapy and anemia patients are gaining new strength. Helping to grow blood cells helped Amgen become the world's largest biotech company. Where do you learn about companies with such pioneering spirit? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
This year, the colors of fall are brown, red, yellow, and at your Buick dealer, lots of green. Because right now, during Buick's Fall Collection event, we've got great deals like 0.9% APR financing on every 1998 Buick in stock, or cash back savings of up to $3,000. So come in and see our Fall Collection. But hurry, because when the 98 Buicks are gone, the Buick Fall Collection will be too.
targeted for death.
You've stolen enough arsenal to start a small war.
But this is one target that hits back.
There's a blast from the past.
Walker, CBS Tonight.
Well, one of the surprise games around the country right now. 8th-ranked Florida State tied with Miami at 7. Remember, Ed, what happened last year in Tallahassee? 47-0. Miami's trying to rebuild, come back to making a statement right now.
A lot of people thought that this game would be a blowout too, but we had talked during the week. We were both excited about this game, that Miami has such good players, they could hang with them through the first half. The question is, what's going to happen in the second?
Lost the football, covered up by an orange jersey at the 21. Boy, James in the big yardage territory, but luckily Nick Williams, his fullback, was trailing the play and able to cover up on the fumble.
As a running back, you always have to be aware of ball control. You have to have it tucked in. There, just a hand can come in there and knock it out. Nick Williams, though, the fullback, gets on it. Boy, what a nice break. Edgerrin James comes out. James Jackson doesn't come out because of the fumble, but they're Miami able to rotate those running backs.
Good look at Covington, and as he makes his way to the sidelines, a timeout. Well, tonight on CBS, it's martial law. You've got to see it to believe it. Martial arts superstar Sammo Hung is kicking the fun back into Saturday nights. Don't miss martial law. That's tonight on CBS.
Now, Phil Simms and Greg Gumbel and Marcus Allen are on the other show. Why couldn't they have been on that?
I want to see Gumbel take on Sammo.
A roundhouse kick? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Boy, Bobby Bowden is getting a workout as well as Butch Davis today. Both of these teams, it's like a comedy of errors. Who can back up the most? Scott Covington today has been under a little bit of duress. He's been sacked 3 times. A lot of hurries. But the one thing I've noticed about Covington is, remember, this is a 5th-year senior. He's not losing any of his poise. You're always going to get pressured by Florida State. Covington's done a nice job staying in the pocket. They've started to move the pocket a little bit to try to get him out of that. But you haven't seen Covington get flustered, even when guys were dropping balls earlier.
And that's throughout the season. We saw that on film yesterday. Covington is tough in the pocket. 2nd down, 6. 2 wideouts. Covington, the quick 3-step drop, and he hooks up. Fulcher is tied in, and a first down for the Hurricanes at the 30-yard line.
Andreal Fulcher came to the University of Miami as a wide receiver. Another one of those great athletes. He's gotten himself up to 245 pounds. In high school, he high jumped 6'6" and long jump over 23 feet. So even though their starters, Daniel Franks, a sophomore, here is another weapon that Miami can go to.
They love the tight ends, and already you can tell because Franks caught the touchdown from Covington. They like to drag him underneath, shoot him to the outside. 1st and 10 from the 30. Pitch. Big hole, big yards. James Jackson rips off 8 to the 37. Sean Key, the rover back, made the tackle.
Focus on the right side of the offensive line. You are now looking at the ISO play made famous by the Dallas Cowboys. Nick Williams is the fullback. He's going to isolate on the linebacker at the point of attack, 265 pounds against Tommy Polley. He's going to win that every time. That is a play Dallas, when they went to all those Super Bowls and Butch Davis was there, they ran it and ran it and ran it.
2nd down, 2. Jackson. Trying to turn the pass. Flags are down. Breaks another one. Breaks another one inside the 35 to the 32. But flags are down at midfield. How many times in this half have we seen the flag? Sean Key, I believe the 3rd Seminole that put the helmet on and finally brought down Jackson.
When we look at the stats, we're going to have to add to the penalty yardage.
On the offense, 10 yards, bottom of foul, repeat 2nd down.
That's over 100 yards of total offense that Miami has grinded out and lost because of penalty. Again, let's watch Nick Williams, big 265-pounder. It's like having an offensive guard in your backfield. It's just a stretch play. He's got one-on-one against McCorkle, the safety. Great cut block. The holding called downfield on number 1, Daryl Jones. He had the defensive back wrapped up. But again, over 100 yards of total offense by Miami out the window because of penalties.
Still 6:42 to play in the half. 7-all, I formation. Jackson on the pitch. To the 43.
You get the sense that Miami, little heated battles down in there. That's all right. Football's not supposed to be nice, but you get the feeling Miami going back to how they started the game. They started pounding the ball a little bit, starting to get a little momentum. One way to slow down a very fast defense, run the ball. If you continue to throw, they can pin their ears back, get after your quarterback. Boy, number 75, Damon Neely, getting a little tongue lashing. Butch Davis cannot afford any of these penalties. That's why he's so upset. They've killed themselves with penalties today.
Yeah, Butch Davis, he's trying to recruit character, academics, and he's trying to build some, I believe, right there. Whistles. Play clock looked like it ran down to 0.
Our conversation with Butch Davis, I said, Coach, I'm really impressed with how you've kind of started to change this. There's another penalty on his Hurricanes. But I talked to Butch Davis, 5 yards on the offense, about the newfound kid. He said, you know, Ed, we can win with class. He's kicked 3 or 4 starters off the team, and the key to that is, he says, the players that remain support me in what I'm doing. They don't want bad guys on this football team. A lot of respect for Butch Davis, because that's tough to do when you're under this much pressure.
Covington, incomplete, trying to hit Reggie Wayne. That's a great point. With the sanctions against Miami, they've lost 31 scholarships, but next year they're back to the 85 limit.
I would say Miami, for just their depth, they've got the big-time players, Santana Moss, they've got Edgerrin James, they've got some great defensive linemen and linebackers, Dan Morgan especially, but I think they're 2 years away from having the depth solidified, so that when Butch Davis has to send in a backup because of an injury or somebody needs to come out of the game, it's not a true freshman he's sending into the game.
They have a pretty good backup quarterback and freshman Kenny Kelly. A lot of excitement with that young man. Covington, ball may have been tipped. Incomplete. James Jackson, the intended receiver. Jerry Johnson batted the ball. The defensive tackle.
You know,
it's fourth down.
It's interesting. We talked about James Jackson in there. Another guy you're going to see later is Najee Davenport, a freshman. But when we spoke with Edgerrin James, said, what's the competition like? There's Edgerrin there. He said, well, it's friendly because I'm a junior. Jackson's a sophomore. Najee Davenport's a freshman. I said, what if you're all the same class? He said, I don't think it'd be very friendly at that point.
Feaster back to receive the kick. This one's going to take a hop at the 30 and get a hurricane roll down to the 25-yard line. Well, make sure you check out CBS tomorrow, NFL doubleheader day. Kansas City, the Chiefs taking on the Patriots. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. You got McNair taking on the Ravens, Buffalo and the Colts, and then the late game, LA, Seattle, Jets and St. Louis, and the Chargers, Ryan Leaf and the Raiders.
My former team, the Seattle Seahawks, get the Broncos up in that noisy Kingdome.
Wow.
I doubt that John Elway, who will play tomorrow, will get much of a chance to audible.
All at the Orange Bowl, 5:20 to go before half. Weinke fires a dart complete. First down at the 36. Look, 1, 2, 3. There's 7 orange jerseys converging there.
Nate Webster, another great underclassman for Miami, just a sophomore. Boy, this Miami defense is stacked at linebacker for years to come. Nate Webster, just a sophomore. Dan Morgan, who leads his team in tackles, just a sophomore. That's what I'm saying. Once the depth gets there, this Miami program will be back.
Pitch play. Chaney couldn't turn it. Lost 3, back to the 33. Dan Morgan. And when you talk about Dan Morgan, you kind of have to break a smile, Ed, because defensive coordinator Bill Miller just told us flat out, listen, I didn't like Dan Morgan coming out of high school. Well, why, Coach? He didn't have any shoulders.
Narrow-shouldered guy said. Dan Morgan was a fullback in high school, ran for over 2,200 yards, showed up on campus as a fullback. Miami had problems at the linebacker position with numbers last year, and Bill Miller said, you know what, I just took Dan Morgan as a number, and now there's no chance he would give him back to the offense.
He's averaging 15 tackles the last 7 games. Already today, 7 stops in the first half. Weinke to the sideline, hooks up complete. Lavernius Coles. Myers made the tackle. Weinke very accurate on just the 10-yard, 12-yard stuff.
But those are the things that they try to do. They've tried to simplify so that Weinke can get the ball out quickly. His percentages, as you see, have come up. 178 yards, a lot of those. 2 of them were big plays to Warrick that were underthrown, but they're trying the underneath stuff. Lavernius Coles, the fastest guy ever at Florida State, even faster than Deion Sanders. Those guys can make the plays.
I know you don't like times, but they timed him at 4.19. Again. Easy yardage for Florida State. This time to the near side is Warrick. Go back to Coles. He runs a 4.19. Deion, 4.21. Now, you don't like the timing situation, do you?
You know, if you time it right, I could probably run a 4.4, but that is legitimate speed. And the reason you see Florida State getting these quick hitch patterns because Miami has to respect the speed. The one thing that Bill Miller told us when we were talking to him is, I don't want those short hitches to turn into 60-yard touchdowns. That's why Miami's playing off a bit.
Weinke changing things up. 1st and 10 at the 49. Right up the middle to Cole Cheney. And Cheney rumbles to the 32-yard line. Michael Smith saved the touchdown.
The one thing as a defensive lineman you always have to remember when you're rushing the quarterback, stay in your lanes. These guys are going to get pushed to the outside. The middle of the field is wide open. You have to have lane control as a defense. Opens up a huge hole in the middle. Those guys are rushing the passer, but they have to be true to their lanes.
18-yard pickup for Cheney. And that brings up a 1st and 10 at the Miami 31. 3 wide receivers. Weinke again, slant, contact, no flags. The intended receiver was Ron Dugan's. Leonard Myers reaching over the back, but no flag.
Not that I want to see any more penalty flags today, but Mr. Myers got away with one there. Comes through the back of Dugan's. Leonard Myers has had a tough day today so far. A couple of big catches on him by Warrick. Contact before the ball arrives. Can't understand why the penalty flag was called. Maybe the officials got together and said, hey, you know what? Let's hold off on the flags for a while. Good for Mr. Myers that they decided to do that.
2nd down at 10 from the 31 of Miami. Just over 3 minutes remaining in the opening half. 7-all here at the Orange Bowl. Warrick in motion. Weinke looks that way. Gets him right on a hit. Out of bounds at the 22.
You get a sense, Craig, that this is what the Florida State offense has tried to go to. When we talked to Mark Richt, it was, you know, we wanted to simplify. We wanted to make shorter passes, more out routes, more crossing routes, so that Weinke can get the ball to our playmakers a lot quicker. Peter Warrick, obviously, one of the best playmakers in college football. But these are the things you see, and this is a methodical. If you looked at Florida State's pass, it's just a methodical type drive. Usually it's the big plays for them. Now they're nickel and dime in this Miami defense.
Warrick with 6 receptions in the first half for 138 yards and a touchdown from the shotgun, 3rd and 2. Weinke pumps, fires, underthrows, but he comes back for the touchdown. Marvin Minnis. $23 yards.
You got to wonder if Leonard Myers, number 22, the cornerback, the left cornerback for Miami, wishes he would have just kept his mouth shut during the week. His name was in the paper all week saying how they were going to shut down this Florida State attack, but they have not shut it down. Leonard Myers has had a very, very tough day.
Janikowski kicks it through. Florida State now leads by 7. We'll be back.
Financial goals require solutions. Dreams deserve dedication. Success demands performance. If there's something you want to achieve, the principal has one word of advice. Plan ahead, get ahead. The Principal Financial Group.
On America's Night of Heroes, the guy who gets tomorrow's news is found out.
That kid snuck in here. He wasn't supposed to see it.
But what will he do with the secret?
Mom, we never believe what happened.
Early edition, then. Illegal Ultimate Fighters.
Where did they find these freaks?
Arkansas.
Are about to meet the LAPD's ultimate weapon.
Nice move.
Martial law and targeted for death.
They've stolen enough arsenal to start a small war.
But this is one target that hits back.
There's a blast from the past.
Walker on America's Night of Heroes, CBS tonight.
3 minutes remain at the Orange Bowl here in the first half. Florida State leading by 7, 14-7. Menace with his first touchdown of the year, and coming up on the College Football Today AXA and Equitable halftime report, Timmy Brando, Craig James, and the coach, Lou Holtz, will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights on, yes, another very big day in college football across the country. How about this one? Florida State 14, Miami 7.
1998 has been rather strange in college football. Every weekend it appears the games get bigger and bigger because there's just no way to tell who's going to come out on top this year.
8 plays, 75 yards. Second touchdown throw of the day for Weinke. His number's impressive, Ed. 13 of 20. A lot of short stuff. 217 yards.
Who cares? You know, if it works, stick with it. Florida State's always been known as a spread it around offense, stay in the shotgun, let the quarterback be the focal point, but they've become less quarterback dominant.
Janikowski, you got to be kidding. 2 rows up behind the end zone. He's from Poland. He came to the U.S. to play soccer, and what a foot.
In the year of Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa knocking him into the stands, Janikowski, who probably knows very little about baseball, decides he wants to put one 2 rows deep. 255 pounds. Bobby Bowden told us he would have made a heck of a linebacker, but he's only been in the States for 4 years, came as a soccer player, so decided to kick.
Miami on the ground. Boy, nice second effort. James Jackson trying to weave his way. Picks up 9 tough yards to the 29. Chris Hope, the free safety, brought him down around the shoe top.
James Jackson averaging almost 6 yards per carry. Sophomore out of Belglade, Florida. Nice changeup. All 3 of these running backs from Miami have different styles. Jackson more the breakaway speed. Edgerrin James kind of the mover and shaker. And Davenport, who we have not seen, the bigger bruising tailback.
Second down and short. Jackson. It's going to be close. Depends on the spot. Billy Rhodes, number 43, came in to make the hit.
Now, if you're Miami, you would think they would like to go down and score. You're going to have to start moving around with a little more authority, start moving a little quicker. Clock's going to continue to run. They have 2 timeouts left, but they're going to have to start maybe going into their hurry-up offense if they want to get down and try a field goal or try a couple shots into the end zone. We said the game would decide who's rushing more, but when the numbers are that low, they don't really mean that much.
Gonzalez, by the way, is back in there, number 73. He may have jumped the right side tackle. You know, this is a great time when one team points one way, one team points the other.
Offside. On the defense. 5 yards.
Mr. Gonzalez, I apologize.
The rule in college football is if the defender jumps into the neutral zone, if the offensive lineman on either side of the guy who jumps, and Joaquin Gonzalez jumps, number 43 is Billy Rhodes lined up on him. If he jumps after the defenders in the neutral zone, it's on the defense.
1st and 5. Covington, good protection. To the 42. Santana Moss a little bit quiet in this quarter, but he's come back with a big play, and that stops the clock with 1:34. Tate Cody made the tackle.
And here comes Miami in that hurry-up mode. You're down to 1:30. You have 2 timeouts. You'd like to get into field goal range and then be able to take a few shots into the end zone. If they're incomplete, it kills the clock.
24-yard hookup, Covington to Santana Moss. Well, next Saturday, points leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. is expected to be on hand. NASCAR's hottest wheels take off at the CarQuest Auto Parts 250. It's Busch Grand National Racing right here on CBS. And then right after the CarQuest 250, college football here on CBS. Auburn and 6th-ranked Florida or 24th-ranked Syracuse. Donovan McNabb taking his show to Boston College. Check your local listings next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on CBS.
There's a lot of men at home right now asking for next Saturday off. Hey, honey, I got auto racing, then I got college football. I'm not moving for about 7 hours.
Then on Sunday, you got the problem to ask, can I watch NFL football?
On CBS again. Well, if you're Miami, you've already used your timeout. So now you're into, when is that? The last one is so key. You may need it to get your field goal unit on the team. You got to figure the offensive Miami now, if they're going to throw the ball, throw to the sidelines. If they get a first down, it stops the clock. But if they don't, the clock continues to run. Look for some sideline routes or anything deep enough to be a first down.
Miami has the 2 timeouts remaining. Florida State burns one, so they have 1. It's a 1st and 10.
Actually, it was Miami used the timeout there. So 1 for Miami, 2 for Florida State.
A minute and 30 left on the first half clock. Covington shotgun, throws, fires on Jackson, incomplete at the 42.
There's the play that could have got Miami a little closer into field goal range. Jackson runs the out route, running towards the sideline, and drops the ball. Jackson would have just sprinted to the sidelines. Bobby Rhodes, the linebacker, trailing in pursuit, would have been able to push him out of bounds. But again, the sideline route would have allowed the clock to stop. Of course, an incomplete does the same thing without the yardage.
Covington from the shotgun, 2nd and 10. Over the middle, nearly then dropped. Flags are down. He was trying to thread the needle to his tight end, Franks. Brian Allen nearly stopped that drive. Holding the call.
It's kind of amazing that it wasn't a touchdown getting called back by Miami. It seems every time they have a big play, they get a holding call. This is a big penalty against Miami, though, backing them up out of field goal area.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, start of the foul, repeat 2nd and 10.
Now, if you are Miami with 1:22 left, you've got to start taking some shots further down the field to get at least into field goal range. This offensive line's young and thin, and they're battling, but starting to hurt Miami.
Covington under pressure, ball tipped, intercepted again, went to his tight end. Not Franks, but Fulcher. And that was the 16th flag thrown in this half.
15th?
16th.
Woo! That's too many. This offensive line for Miami's been battling all day. They've got their hands full. There's number 40, Tony Bryant, the senior defensive end, getting a pop on Tony Covington. Covington able to get the ball out. He cannot afford to take a sack right now.
3 wide receivers set, 3rd down and 22. Little draw trap. Trying to make the cut was Edrin James, and he went down, losing a couple back to the 44.
3rd and 22, Craig, and they run the draw. With the speed that Miami has at the wide receiver position, it really surprised that they did not take a shot down the field there.
Miami now 0 for 8 on 3rd downs in this football game.
One of the strengths of the Florida State defense, 2nd in the country in total defense, but the most telling statistic for Florida State, they've held their opponents to 22.5% converting on 3rd downs. Today, Bobby Bowden's Seminoles have held them to the Hurricanes to 0%.
Now you remember that a couple of weeks ago, the schedule was UCLA at Miami. Well, we dropped by the Miami press box yesterday, and when you look at this, that game was not played because of Hurricane George, but they had yet to take away. That's Mark Dellins, the UCLA SID, and there's a lot of talk right now whether or not that game will actually be played. Miami would like to, and I think UCLA wouldn't want to have to come down to the Orange Bowl later this year and have to take on Miami.
There's a couple of different reasons Miami wants to play, but the most important being with this young team, it gives them an additional week of practice. But for UCLA, it's very difficult for them. They've got to travel all the way out here. They may be 10-0 in the race for the national title. Look at the remaining schedule for Miami, and they have an open date December 5th. That is the date that they've asked UCLA to play it. Miami says, hey, we want to play it. It's now in UCLA's hands.
Feaster won't get a chance to return. Takes a right turn at the 25-yard line. So Florida State will have the football. 30-yard kick. 55 seconds remain in the half. Make sure you stick around. Timmy Brando, Craig James, Lou Holtz, the AXA and Equitable Halftime Report, scores and highlights around the country.
You know, if you're Miami, this is a tough position to be in on defense. Although the Florida State offense has to go 75 yards, they've got the weapons to do it in 55 seconds.
Weinke hands off. Nice run. Cheney picks up 7 to the 33.
Got to wonder if Bobby Bowden is saying, all right, guys, we'll try to chip it down the field, but I want to get you guys in the locker room and have a little talking to you about all those penalties and all those mistakes in this first half.
Again, Cheney going for first down yardage, and on second effort, falls over to the 35 to the 36. Derek Ham made the stop.
But let's not fall asleep. They may just run a couple of dive plays with Cheney and then unleash the speedsters over the top. Lavernius Coles, Peter Warrick. Look out, they may try and fade one of those guys here pretty soon.
Coles got a 60-yarder last week. They break it with the run. Cheney, 9 yards to the 47. Delvin Brown on the tackle. Clock will stop, remember, when they move the chains on the first down. 14 ticks remain.
If you're Miami, don't go to sleep, Mr. Blades. Al Blades, you better be awake. They may try to throw one over your head here. Al Blades, the third member of the Blades family to score a touchdown at the University of Miami. Benny Blades, his brother, was a strong safety. Thorpe Award winner, two-time All-American. His brother Brian, still a wide receiver with the Seattle Seahawks, but last week he had a 60-yard interception return for a touchdown. Benny Blades recently retired from the NFL. Not quite a first down for Florida State. There's Benny on the sidelines. He's now out of the NFL here supporting his younger brother Al. Very tight-knit group around here at the University of Miami. Not only do they come back to support family members like Benny is here supporting Al, but a lot of the old players come back just to support the program in general.
Yeah, they have set aside a special place on the sideline for the alumni to come back and enjoy Hurricane football. Weinke throws, nearly picked off. That ball hung up there. Leonard Myers made the nice read. Myers mentioned, you know, he goes, I want Warrick every down, have him come right at me. And you know what? The coaches cut that article out and put that in Mr. Warrick's locker.
Yeah, Peter Warrick said, you know, I'm not going to say anything. I'll let Leonard Myers do all the talking. But Peter Warrick has had that article in his locker all week. Hasn't said a word, came out and put on a heck of a show in the first half.
Prevent defense. That's going to run the clock out. Cheney to the 37. No flags as we go to half. That's the end of the first 30 minutes. Florida State leads 14-7. Timmy Brando, Craig James, and Lou Holtz will be along with the College Football Today AXA and Equitable Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station.
Learn the secrets of martial arts star Sammo Hung. Log on to CBS.com.
Dwight Stanzel is a fifth-generation Floridian from Welborn, a small business owner with conservative values, just like you. He cares about education, making sure public education continues to be funded. He cares that each person has health care, particularly our elderly. Stanzel wants jobs for our citizens. He wants our neighborhoods to be safe from criminals, particularly drug dealers. And Stanzel cares that your taxes are not wasted. Dwight Stanzel is the right leadership at the right time. On November 3rd, vote for Dwight Stanzel for your state representative, District 11.
Welcome to fishing world. I'm Bob. This is my friend Joe. Looks like today we're going to try and get some big bass.
If you're going to take home a souvenir, take home a souvenir. If you're going to get a deal on breakfast, get a deal on breakfast. Hardee's 2 for $2 steak biscuits, made from scratch biscuits topped with country fried steaks, 2 for just $2. If you're going to go all out.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary Bartlett. You know, throughout history, students have tested the boundaries of acceptable conduct. Now, many high schoolers are testing new dress code rules. We'll talk about it this Sunday on Focus On.
Membership has its privileges. Be the first to experience the Odyssey Science Center by attending a members-only party October 16th from 4:30 to 7 p.m. This event is open to current members or those who purchase memberships at the site. It's a monster of a grand opening, where famous monsters of the silver screen demonstrate the awesome power of the atom. Come enjoy free snacks, drinks, and entertainment, and see what a world-class Science Center has to offer. Become a member and help support the Odyssey Science Center. Join Eyewitness Sports Director Randy Ruditz as he covers the battle of North and South. Florida, that is. Monday on Eyewitness News at 5:30 and 6. Randy will come to you live from Jacksonville as the Jaguars take on the Dolphins. From your sports leader, WCTV. Catch Eyewitness Sports with Mark Rushing on Eyewitness News at 6 and 11.
By AXA and the Equitable.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Brando, and welcome to the College Football Today AXA and Equitable Halftime Report with the score at halftime. Florida State leading Miami 14-7. I'm joined, as always, by Craig James and Lou Holson. And you watch Florida State, and it's like there's something missing, right?
There seems to be something missing on offense, but the one thing that isn't missing, they're playing very, very physical. And I tell you, Bobby Bowden will have a few words to say at halftime.
You know, in Miami, if you're Miami, they go in there and you got to say Butch Davis to his team, come on, fellas, you're young, you're killing yourself. You should be in this game even closer, if not ahead. Mistakes are hurting them, but I will say this, Miami does look a lot better than they've looked. They show the talent level they have.
Yeah, the two teams have combined for 16 penalties in this game. Now, a full slate of games today. Right to the scoreboard we go in a game many are watching on CBS. Tennessee at halftime, leading Georgia. Uga is on hand to watch.
Look like Coach Hull's getting ready to eat dinner.
T. Martin here has a pass intercepted by Champ Bailey. He threw 2 interceptions the first half. Coach Fulmer was upset. You don't need the great play from T. Martin. What you need to do is eliminate the bad one. He's trying to make the great throw here under pressure, another interception.
Tim Wansley with that interception. I told you, man, this guy can't open it up. They've been hiding him all year because he doesn't throw it well.
3 Jeff Hall field goals. Carter, by the way, 7 of 17 for 108 yards, 1 INT for the freshman quarterback from Georgia. Nebraska and Texas A&M. This is the shocker of the day. Maybe Bob Simmons had something up with Oklahoma State, Craig. That wasn't a fluke last week by virtue of what we see this week.
You're stealing my thoughts, aren't you? Man, I feel this guy in and you're stealing them on me. Okay, Bob Simmons did some stuff last week at Oklahoma State that allowed Texas A&M's coaches to go in, watch the game film, see what's going on, and then they're implementing it. And Texas A&M's defense is talented, a lot better than Oklahoma State's.
5 football games. Nebraska's played 1 great game. That was against Washington State. Every other week we say, gee, what's happening? Yeah. They still win, but Coach Solich has to be concerned.
Now that wrecking crew defense from Texas A&M getting it done right now. Dante Hall has 71 yards on the ground. Minnesota, Penn State at half. It's 16-3 right now, the Nittany Lions. Aaron Harris with a touchdown run for Penn State. Arkansas and Memphis out of the Southeastern Conference, but Houston Nutt on the road for the first time, Lou.
Well, he's got a very fine football team. Their offensive line's playing very, very well. Their defense. Here, Madre Hill goes in, virtually untouched, puts Arkansas up by a score 13-3.
And Nutt, the first Arkansas coach to go 4 games and 4-0 since Lou Holtz 21 years ago. Missouri, the guys from the Show Me State. How about Mr. West? Devin West, 252 yards rushing with 3 scores in that game. Notre Dame against a disappointing team. Arizona State, thought by many to challenge for the Pac-10 and, if not the national title, it's 14-3 Irish right now at Sun Devil Stadium. Georgia Tech and North Carolina State. This is the kind of game that gets head coaches fired. Michael Cain's frenetic bunch, you just don't know who's going to show up, Luke.
Well, they've had some great wins against Florida State, and then they faltered against Baylor, and then they come back last week. But the thing is, they're immature. Coach O'Cain will be fine. They just have to become a little bit more.
All right, who's supposed to be getting them up to play then and not being immature and
well, I want to tell you, he doesn't dress them either. I mean, they put on their pads. I mean, you have to accept some responsibility yourself. You know, you played, you can always point to the coach. I can't point to the players because you might get upset.
Well, I'll say this, though. Georgia Tech is a good football team that shows why they're a contender, and wait till the end of the year when they play Georgia. Man, what a good one.
All right, in the Southeastern Conference today, Mike Dubose, all really in a must-win situation today. Tommy Tuberville looks to go 5-1 with a victory. Alabama's lost 2 in a row, being outscored 58-16, homecoming in Tuscaloosa. So we want to update you on this Texas A&M Nebraska story. 21-7 on a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
A&M had 14 takeaways this year. They were plus 10 coming in to a game. They're showing it again with that defense.
That win and the guys really doing the job with that wrecking crew defense. We'll take a look at all of the action from today's early games when the College Football Today AXA and Equitable Halftime Report continues. Peter Warrick getting it done on the receiving end of this touchdown aerial from Chris Weinke.
Some people call it retirement planning. I think of this as future construction. Year by year, block by block, until...
It's our dream house.
Beautiful. But I was hoping we could afford to travel.
This plan can help make it happen. We can even make sure you've got worry-free income for life.
AXA, dynamic vision, equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA Group.
When you ship with Priority Mail, it's a great way to save money. But what about other parts of the world? There's Global Priority Mail. And here's the best part. Give us a few days more, and you can save up to 70% over FedEx or UPS. So, what's your global priority? Try Global Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
With CC 355 Jelly Souls, I can run like the wind.
Cut! What I'm looking for.
Don't fall for the latest product gimmick. Image is nothing. Thirst is everything. Obey your thirst. Sprite.
The Nissan Frontier could become a prized possession. Along with the most horsepower in its class and the largest cargo bed in its class, it's been awarded the best compact pickup in initial quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Feel free to display the trophy in your garage. Right now, get $2,000 cash back on the purchase of any 98 Nissan.
Your world is more than a world of computers, a world of communications, a world of semiconductors. You live in a world of multimedia, where computers, communications, and semiconductors all come together. NEC Multimedia, because it's your world, and NEC can help you run it.
If you're surprised that the Red Army Band is playing Glenn Miller in the streets of Moscow, wait until you meet the mayor. He's a real surprise. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
The College Football Today AXA and Equitable Halftime Report is sponsored jointly by AXA and the Equitable.
Welcome to the College Football Today AXA and Equitable Halftime Report. The football action does continue tomorrow with an NFL doubleheader on CBS. In the early games, many of you will see Kansas City and New England. Then later, the Broncos face the Seahawks. Check local listings, and it all begins at noon Eastern with the NFL Today. Jim Nantz, Brent Jones, George Seifert, and Marcus Allen will have all the latest news and information. Plus, Armin Katayan has the story on Patriots wide receiver Terry Glenn. And Bonnie Bernstein looks at Seattle's new odd couple, Ricky Watters and Warren Moon. That's all tomorrow at noon Eastern on the NFL Today. Now a look at some of our earlier action today. The Buckeyes roll Lou Holtz against the Fighting Illini. Play action fakes, all to get the Illy Buck Trophy presented to the winner of the Ohio State-Illinois game.
Well, they do so many things well. Look at the protection you have here. You cannot cover Ohio State's wide receivers, particularly Reggie Germany, that long. Not only that, they play great defense. They score in all different ways. You're going to see Kurt Kittner has the ball jarred loose after the hit. Neil Diggs picks it up. Ohio State can get pressure on you without blitzing, and that makes them a great football team, among other things.
Neil Diggs just running right in there, making it 41-0 the victory. West Virginia and Temple. Amos Zaraway doesn't play, but there's more that's famous besides Amos, Craig.
Yeah, David Saunders paying homage to his friend. Alvin Swoop in the backfield, third play from the game for here, 7 yards, touchdown West Virginia. And Amos Zaraway, oh, smiles, man, I could have done that. I know I could have. David Saunders then, his second touchdown of the game, 52 yards from Mark Bulger. Bulger threw 3 on the day, 6th straight game. This guy's thrown 2 touchdowns or more. West Virginia smoked them like we thought they would.
Well, that deep thigh bruise was taken care of in short order by Mr. Swoop, 37-7. Auburn and Mississippi State. This is the worst start since Shug Jordan was in his 2nd year as head coach. Tough couple of weeks for Terry Bowden, Lou.
Well, it is, but things aren't going well. They just seem to fall apart all along. Here you see a great throw, just a tremendous catch, just that close to sacking the quarterback. You shake your head and you say, why not? And not only that, they're now breaking down in all areas. Mississippi State blocked 2 punts. They had 2 sacks, 2 interceptions. Auburn's not doing the little thing.
Bulldogs of Mississippi State rolling for Jackie Sherrill, quietly unbeaten in the SEC West. Oklahoma and Texas, the big state fair game. Big Pony, it's not what it used to be, but Bevo was there.
Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em Ricky Williams. 20-yard run. This one here, he surpasses Herschel Walker, the 3rd leading rusher now in the NCAA history. And Ricky was the man. Mack Brown's a smart enough coach to realize he's got one guy, not that guy Major Applewhite. He's got Ricky Williams. Give it to him again up the middle. Puts the icing on the cake. They go on to win 34-3. He honors Doak Walker by wearing number 37 today in a nice way.
Biggest margin of victory in the series since 1970. That was a 41-9 Longhorns victory. On to the ACC, where Clemson, in need of a victory for embattled coach Tommy West, they get Maryland today. Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka.
Well, Maryland hasn't scored a touchdown in Death Valley since 1991, and you can't play man coverage against Clemson unless you're going to get pressure on the quarterback. Here you're going to see in the 4th quarter, Streeter's going to be able to throw a 28-touchdown strike to junior Brian Wofford, but notice he can step up and throw the ball. When you get that long, you can't cover him.
So, Maryland, shut out today, drops to 2-4 overall. Into the Big Ten, Indiana and Michigan State going to 2 overtimes. Easily the most frenetic finish of the day, Craig.
What a great finish. After slugging it out in regulation and through the first overtime, first play, Bill Burke of the 3rd one to Cedric Irvin, 25 yards, crashes through for the touchdown, 38-31. Then the last chance for the Hoosiers, 4th down. Jay Rogers looking downfield. But Spartan safety Lamar Marshall has other thoughts. It's over. The Spartans, a dramatic victory for them.
So they get the old brass spittoon on homecoming day in East Lansing. Well, the college football today Accent Equitable halftime report continues right after this.
I can help you plan ahead and make sure you have money for things like your kids' education.
That's fantastic. But I was thinking about starting my own business.
As a matter of fact, that's part of the plan too. Now here's the best part. Guaranteed income for you and Meg to retire in style.
AXA, dynamic vision, Equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA Group.
In Las Vegas, you could win a fortune with the right kind of spin. And the Las Vegas 500 could win you a fortune in the MCI Pep Boys $1 Million Drivers Sweepstakes. Pick Kenny Brack to win and you could split a cool $1 million with the Indy Racing League's top driver. Enter at any Pep Boys location or on the Pep Boys and MCI websites. Will the wheels spin your way for $500,000? Find out at the Las Vegas 500.
People often ask, what's the real Bill Shatner like? I tell them, find out with Web TV. You could watch one of my many shows and be on the internet at the same time. Looking up websites about Shatner, the author, Willie the Cowboy, and yes, Bill the Rock Star. Of course, you could look up other websites and watch other shows.